Maestro? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to witness perfection. We're about to watch 2003's masterpiece, The Room, a cinematic piece de resistance by veteran filmmaker Tommy Wiseau. And how do we know it's his movie, you ask? Because he only pointed it out about 70,000 times.
Hi, babe. I have something for you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this movie, utter perfection. So, we open the movie with the absolute gentle lad, also known as Tommy, also known as Johnny, buying a stunning red dress for his female companion. All of a sudden, a man-child enters the picture. I have no idea how relevant he is to the plot, but maybe the absolute gentle lad can explain.
Nice to see you, Danny.
I'm going to take a nap.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Of course, being the Chad alpha male that he is, the absolute gentle lad climbs upstairs with his lady friend in order to get it on. Our man-child acknowledges their departure by munching on this highly sexual symbol, and what follows? Well, our absolute gentle lad simply refuses to provide us with a sex scene, instead opting for a nice wholesome pillow fight. What a cool reserved guy. I hate it when independent films are all weird sex and boobs and people stuffing their wee-wees into impractical areas. I know for a fact that won't happen here. I'm sure that's just an accidental pun anyway. Danny realizes that 2 is great, but 3 is a crowd. And he leaves, giving our heroes the time to do some dancing and canoodling and... well, okay, maybe one sex scene, but like, it's not that long. I mean, what's 3.5 minutes between friends? I mean, it's barely one R&B song about standing in the way of a bullet. The next morning, our absolute gentle lad decides to, holy heaven, that is a glorious behind if I've ever seen one. Well, trouble is a-brewing in absolute gentle lad's home. His wife's mother enters the picture, and is the case with every mother ever, she pesters her daughter about marriage. Hey, the woman wants grandkids, I can't blame her. Naturally, the second Lisa's mother leaves, she calls a man who in no way resembles a best-selling author, and the two talk about the day's events. She calls him baby a few times, and despite him being busy...
I'm very busy. What's going on? We'll talk about it later. I told you I'm very busy.
He decides to have a chat with her, and this is where Lisa's stellar words of wisdom reach our bespectacled gentleman.
I'm gonna do what I want to do, and that's it. What do you think I should do?
Later on, Lisa welcomes this French, Sicilian-looking supermodel-type fellow into her home, doing nothing suspicious whatsoever. The man himself also delivers some snazzy cinematic wisdom.
I mean, the candles, the music, the sexy dress. I mean, what's going on here?
Naturally, Lisa's smitten, and this wizard of a human controls her like a puppet master with his saying that absolute gentle lad is his best friend, and that he doesn't want sex. And him regretting sex right after the 6th minute of that sex scene, all perfect mastery of seduction. Manchild appears again, letting Lisa know he still wants to dick her, but we're interrupted once again by the wizardly acting of absolute gentle lad. His professional life is going down the drain, so he complains about it to his lonely and loyal girl. She, of course, brings him some light liquor to relax, and the two end up boogieing to some light R&B tracks. Oh, and more wholesome things happen later. Of course, Lisa discusses with her mother the woes that she has with absolute gentle lad. In fact, these woes are so powerful, they even eclipse this particular moment.
He didn't get his promotion, and he got drunk last night, and he hit me.
Johnny doesn't drink. What are you talking about? I definitely have breast cancer.
As well as this announcement. Of course, we're then introduced to the sweetest couple in the movie apart from absolute gentle lad and Lisa, of course, and this is where Wiseau's stellar romantic dialogue really shines.
Did you, know that chocolate is the symbol of love?
Of course, he's rewarded for his verbosity and acerbic wit. Obviously, every film needs some shenanigans, some light comedy of errors, so to speak, and the director thought about this little cute piece when the side characters get to show their comedic chops by exchanging seemingly disconnected dialogue and using potty humor. It's a bit smarter than that, my friends. But then, peril ensues. The director shows us how powerful the drug problem is in San Francisco, pitting this well-endowed, suspiciously Armenian gangster with bobsleds for arms against our favorite man-child. Luckily, absolute gentle lad is there to save the day, complete with his youthful best friend. The problem is luckily resolved, but the situation will forever remain tense between the young upstart and the American, extremely long-haired gentleman who's in fact so American that he can trace his blood to the founding fathers. No, don't question it. You know I'm right.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Absolute Gentle Lad is on the roof, and his friend, who will never make an appearance on certain nostalgic movie reviewers' internet show, starts to tell him a tale of the lady who got Chris Browned due to her cheating so hard, in fact, that she had to end up in a non-existent hospital near the director's own apartment. Absolute Gentle Lad's reaction is one of empathy and understanding, of course.
What a story, Mark.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Obviously, our manly best friend leaves in no way grabbing a plane ticket to Milan for a photo shoot, while our main child tosses some pigskin over our clearly American main character. Halfway through, he confesses to being in love with Lisa, but Absolute Gentle Lad is such an American hero that he doesn't take umbrage with that. Why, you may ask?
If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Back at Absolute Gentle Lad's pad, Lisa and her female friend are discussing the party. Now you see that neck thing going on. That's the actress showing how much stake she put in the film, how hard she's trying for the director, and that, my friends, is goddamn dedication. The man of the house returns and graciously allows the lady to depart without finishing her wine. Obviously, great films need drama, and our Absolute Gentle Lad shows a massive performance, one that would even bury the late great James Dean twice. I don't even have to waste words, for your viewing pleasure only, folks.
I never hit you.
You must be kidding, aren't you?
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
You know the famous Me and the Boys meme? Well, it didn't come up in the 2020s. No, it was Tommy Wiseau who pre-created it all back in 2003. Drink it in. Look at that majesty. Look at our Chads playing the most American sport of all. In fact, it's so American that the chocolate me underwears here loses its balance. More infidelity inevitably ensues, but this time our ingenious Absolute Gentle Lad has a plan. He'll install this high-tech piece of gadgetry and learn everything about his future wife's potential misgivings. Naturally, Absolute Gentle Lad has a close friend who is, of course, a psychologist, and he gives him some stellar advice on women. Our manly best friend is back from somewhere, possibly Lake Como, but let's not presume much, and they continue to talk about women. And the minute a woman enters the room, our intrepid best friend, who only looks like he's from Walnut Creek, California, but I assure you he isn't, moves on to greener pastures. Manchild also makes a brief cameo talking to Lisa. I wonder why. The two have next to no chemistry. Our bearded Spartacus lookalike exits the building to taste some CBD. Peter notices that he's tasting his stash and scared that he's gonna lose a puff. Absolute Gentle Lad's best friend tries to commit taking of living. Luckily, he is snapped out of it again by the power of friendship, and the psychologist instantly forgives him. But then again, surely the psychologist was just afraid to die, so he merely forgave the man out of necessity. Next, the lads are trying out tuxes, getting ready for Absolute Gentle Lad's big day. His best friend even took a day off from not working in the French Connection in order to shave and present his godly essence to the world. It moves the boys so much that they all cheep in unison, later on deciding to show their appreciation to America by tossing the pigskin around.
What client?
I cannot tell you, it's confidential.
Oh, come on, why not?
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
It goes to show how powerful an actor the creator of this movie is when a scene of sheer camaraderie with his best friend, but just in the movie, not in real life. I swear, has more raw sex appeal than 2 consecutive straight boy-on-girl sex scenes. That is your sign of quality right there, folks. Yes, these scenes might feel repetitive to an untrained eye, but they're really not. They're merely a statement by the director on how cyclical and mundane our own real lives really are. Are they even worth living? Is my life worth living? Am I even me anymore? It's our Absolute Gentle Lad's birthday. Don't you know? And his party looks like a hoot. It's a massive endeavor with tens of people attending. Some are enjoying cake, others are ruminating on the meaning of life, while our little Lisa confuses her future husband's best friend with a sheltered young man who was represented by Iris Byrne at one point in his career. They begin to canoodle, then all of a sudden...
Hey everybody, I have an announcement to make. We're expecting!
Absolute Gentle Lad lets us know that he has beretted Lisa, and immediately her own best friend and this man whom we've come to know and love so much throughout this movie question Lisa about the child, doubting that a genius-level human being such as our long-haired fella can even produce an offspring in the same way our mortals can. Tension rises, it's almost the climax of the movie, our two best friends fight twice, and it culminates in an anticlimax, or so you'd think. As expected, Lisa makes a mistake of calling her main new squeeze, who will most likely never be played by Dave Franco in a future film, and Absolute Gentle Lad confronts her about her lack of fidelity with his masterful stroke of recording genius. She leaves, and he lets her know how just little she means to him. And he does all of that with a Charles Foster Kane moment. Naturally, before leaving this weary earth, our intrepid hero decides to impregnate his lady's dress in an act of kindness. Surely, and then he uses the Pakistani credit card to get himself home, one step closer to God, a single shot, and it's all over. Only do these characters see how much they've wronged this good, innocent, perfect human being of an American man. This movie, ladies and gentlemen, is why cinema is an art form it's still worth fighting for. An absolute reminder that Absolute Gentle Lad's most poignant message to us masses:
If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live.